Hey, this is Nica Montford, aka Tech Savvy Diva,
Yo, this is Terrance Gaines, aka Brother Tech.
and welcome to the snobOS show, the show for Apple snobs where we talk all things Apple and then some. Welcome back to episode 109. We want to start off by thanking our snobbists who are our Patreons. We just finished up with the live pre-show. So we want to welcome them as well as welcome everyone else who's listening to the regular show. I don't think we have any new snobbists this week, but if you want to become a snobist and get access to the pre-show taping, our live show taping, as well as our community forum for $5 a month, you can become a Patreon as well by going to patreon.com/snobOScast. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the show. All right, so we're going to start off. I think we all are fully aware that a new administration has taken the reins of things and bringing back some normalcy to our daily lives. And one of the first things that President Biden did was on his first day, which was Inauguration Day, was he signed about 17 executive orders. And one of those executive orders are extremely welcomed by some of the leaders of some of the tech giants, specifically speaking of Apple and Google. One of the executive orders related to immigration, basically reversing the decisions made by Trump that were, let's be honest, racially motivated and racist. And he went ahead and reversed those decisions by the previous administration. And why I think this is of particular interest to these tech CEOs outside of, basic human decency of, not, you know, trying to keep, people out of the country.
Undesirable people that
Undesirable people out of the
that
country,
Trump thinks right.
particular immigrants, not all immigrants, just certain typically Black and brown immigrants out of the country, other than them not being racist and not wanting to live in a country that has those type of restrictions. One of the other key things that this executive order does is it returns the H-1B visa that are allowed for immigrants to come to the country. And typically these are highly skilled, highly trained tech talent, STEM talent, coming from different countries. So this is very, appeasing to places like Apple and Google, who rely on a lot of that talent, not just from the United States, but from all over the world. So, granting the work visas, the H-1B visas, and allowing those to be reenacted and flowing again is definitely beneficial to these type of companies. So just wanted to start off with a little bit of positive news on that respect. And it wasn't just, Google and Apple, some of the other tech companies, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, those folks were excited about this executive order that rescinds those racist initiatives as well. So.
Right. I mean, if we want to keep it 100, there are some foreigners who get visas or work permits or whatever you want to call them. They come over to America and then they blend in and or disappear, don't renew their visas, don't go through the process, and all that to say they use that visa, that one free pass to get into America, and really wasn't planning on doing any work, and somehow end up here illegally. But that is a small majority, or small minority rather. And if you're coming over here with a work visa or H-1B or whatever they call it from to work for Apple and or Google, I don't think you're trying to mess that up too much,
No.
So while you mentioned, it looks good for Apple and Google to say, hey, we want people to feel free to come over here, and if they're coming over here to work for us, it's good for the country because immigration, everybody loves, we're a melting pot, yada yada yada. But it's a win-win for them because they can hire more talent to come over here to do the work that they need to be done. But at the same time, it's like this. Come on, it's like you got to take the good with the bad,
Yeah.
right? And this is bringing
And it's
immigrants,
more good than bad,
right? Bringing
honestly.
immigrants over here to work for companies like Apple and Google will do far more good for these companies in a small, level, but for America as a whole, because of course we need more diversity, we need more inclusion, we need more equality, and what better way to do that than to have people working for these companies that reflect America as a whole.
All right, let's slide on over to the next thing. I think in our first episode back of 2021, I talked about the AR devices. We're probably going to see that this year, and it looks like that is closer to being true. But what the initial thought was that the the Google Glass, was going to be more of an AR device. AR meaning augmented reality, meaning you overlay these types of I don't want to call them features, but you overlay these different uh, like if you're walking down the street and you can see the directions, turn left, turn right. It's overlaying the digital imprints into real life. um, but it looks like the device that I thought we were getting is going to be geared more to virtual reality, which is more of placing you in a
A
thinking
virtual
of
reality.
Sims. Yeah, a virtual. Think of Sims, putting you, the person, in an alternate reality rather than bringing, an alternate reality to you.
or not necessarily virtual as in fake or as in generated. I think a missed opportunity, especially in COVID now, is
Oh
for
yeah,
the
you talked about
NBA and the NFL and hockey and MLB to get users to use virtual reality to put them courtside by having them put on these glasses and have cameras set up. Now that you've got the space because there's no attendees there, you can put
hmm
all these cameras up and then have people pay to be courtside.
for their courtside seats.
So you put on the glasses, and through all these array of cameras, you get the impression or you get the experience
The
of being
feel.
courtside or
hmm
50-yard line or whatever you want to call it, behind the
hmm
bullpen, whatever, use your favorite sports, analogy to, reflect courtside seats in the NBA, right? So it's a shame, and I'll let you finish. But it's a shame that we haven't utilized virtual reality for something like that because we love to be entertained. This seems like a perfect fit, but it seems like it's not as popular. Maybe Apple's going to change that now.
So it's actually the opposite. So that's what it seems like this new headset that they're making is for, specifically that virtual reality. So I think what you were saying was a missed opportunity. I think this is the opportunity that we're getting, and not necessarily the augmented reality that
Saw the
I
Google
thought was
Glass,
coming.
right?
Yeah, with the Google Glass. So it looks like it's going to be geared more towards the virtual. And like you said, if we can't get COVID under control here in the States, which I don't know, I guess only time will tell, depending on what the president and the government can do, now that we have some folks who believe that this is an actual thing and who are ready. But it sounds like, side tangent, that the vaccination response plan that the current administration thought at least was skeletal. Now that they're in there was no vaccination plan. So they're having to start from scratch. They thought they would at least be able to pick up, where they were and expand it and improve it. But it sounds like it's nothing there. So they have to kind of start from scratch
Right.
based on the information that they have. So all that to say, we may be, locked down longer than possible, where this particular thing may come in handy. And even thinking beyond that, because there are still going to be some people who are like, yeah, nah, I don't want to be in those tight spaces with that many people anymore. And it gives people the option. So it looks like this is what is coming down the pipeline. One of the other points of contention with this new device is that it's going to be very expensive, which isn't really surprising. Apple did just come out with almost $600 headphones.
Mm-hmm.
I think currently, like Oculus and some of the other virtual reality units, goggles, devices, whatever you want to call them, start around 200, 300, and some I think go up to as high as 900. And apparently, the Apple's headsets are going to be more expensive than that. So I'm thinking if they're saying more expensive, they may be around like probably somewhere around 1,200, I would guess.
Yeah, that puts me out of the running.
Out of the running.
Anything more than $600, again, you'd have to show all kinds of usages for it, because even though I say NBA and sports opportunities is a missed opportunity, even if they did have that right now to where, and they do on a smaller scale, but it's not fully fleshed out. It's not fully realized. But if it were fully fleshed out and fully realized, and for the cost of a set of Oculus Quest headphones, which are about $250, and courts, NBA, I forget what NBA calls it, NBA courtside or whatever, for a subscription of $5 to $10 a month. Boom, you're courtside, then Apple coming in on top of that with $1,200, virtual reality headsets. I'd be like, no, I'm a snob, but not
Not
when
that much.
not that much of a difference, right? You think of the
Hmm.
headphones I got now. I've got the AirPods Max, and they are $550. But the next neighbor to it is the Bose and the Sony's, which are about $300-$400. That gap I can handle, but
Hmm.
$250 up to 12, that's a big gap. So
Yeah.
I would, if this thing does become real, if I had a choice, which, like I said, I don't have a pair of VR headsets right now because there are not a whole bunch of use cases for it right now. So
Hmm.
Apple would definitely have to stack the tables as far as all the different options to make
Hmm.
it appeasing enough to spend, upwards of $1,000 for VR headsets, which right now there's just not enough use case to justify that price.
Yeah. Hopefully that will change and we'll get some more opportunities to use that. And I think, folks are thinking about that now, especially in the time that we're in, and especially since we don't know how long we're going to be like this in this new reality.
Mm-hmm.
So it should be interesting to see how this plays out, because Apple is definitely in the lab. Their R&D department probably have been working on this for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and this was probably really the perfect moment for them. They probably wish they had were a little bit further ahead in their research and development phase of bringing this product to life. But here we are, and so we'll see. It sounds like we could see it this year, so it will be interesting to see. It'll probably be a late year type of release, closer to Christmas, Black Friday, holiday time, I'm guessing. All right. We just celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday on on last Monday. Um, Wait, no, I've got
Yes,
my dates. So it was
just
this
just
Monday.
just past Monday.
This Monday. It seems like so much longer. But yeah, this past Monday. And Apple partnered with the King Center here in Atlanta. to with their educational one of their educational initiatives called Challenge for Change. This is the second installment of the initiative, and it's an educational series that urges people in the community to participate in service programs, particularly geared toward kids and young people. And Apple announced this through their through an education live stream that, of course, as I mentioned, coincides with the celebration of the birth of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And we all know the King Center is definitely a staple here in Atlanta, where people, well, before COVID, visited quite frequently. And even, even though we're in a pandemic, I think people still went down there. People went by his childhood home and paid homage. But what this does is, along with Dr. King's youngest daughter, Bernice King, who, if I'm not mistaken, yep, is the CEO of the King Center that her mother created once Martin Luther King passed. They are working together to um, help teachers and educators in classrooms to create additional conversations around what it means and how it's helpful for them to participate in different service programs, volunteering in the community. So I just think it's really dope that this is the second installment of the initiative. And now Apple is going to provide, resources in addition to the resources that the King Center already offers to keep pushing, this this forward. Because as we've seen with the insurrection, just what 2 Wednesdays ago happened in the Capitol. So I think it's and I think we talked last week about, what Apple is doing with HBCU. So they are really taking their black square to heart and are actually putting, some muscle behind the words. So
Well, they're just removing excuses as to why information like this is not in the hands of teachers and early educators by legitimizing it, right?
mhm.
Us just saying, you got to learn about Martin Luther King Jr. and MLK Day. It's just one thing to say that, and then leave it to teachers, leave it to school administrators to figure out how to build education, build knowledge, build resources around that. Apple comes
And
along.
accurate knowledge.
Right, right. And then Apple comes along and says, hey, we're partnering with MLK Center. It kind of legitimizes the importance, right? So now with this education, with this resources, it makes it easier for schools. It makes it easier for educators and teachers to just say, hey, okay, let's go and see what Apple has to say. And then you go into Apple's to this, this thing that
Discussion.
they
Yeah.
put together, click on the links, and then boom, you can automatically get this information quicker than, I hate to say it, but doing your own research. As a teacher, you would think that they would be a little bit more upfront, forthcoming as far as educating their kids, because I hate to say it, but even in my kids' schools right now, there's really no education around Black History Month. There's really no education around Martin MLK and all the important things, as far as Juneteenth, all the way through, right?
Hmm.
So it's easier for us as parents to then try to supplement the lack
Hmm.
of information that they get in schools by being able to go to something as simple as this and get information, links to learning materials.
And have everything laid out.
Right, right. So I don't, it's not so hard to try to recreate or supplement that information when I can just say, hey, let's talk about this. Let's go to this link. Let's do this and that and the other.
And let's be also, honest about it. It this gives people, like you said, excuses not to opt out, because we know that there are people that are educating our kids, who are leading our kids, who don't necessarily believe in this. And they use this, oh, I don't know anything about it. I don't have the information, so I can't share it. It it says, well, we got guides and workbooks uh,
Mm-hmm.
here you go. I mean, it's right in front of your face,
Right.
and you can be certain that this is accurate information.
Mm-hmm.
That's the second key component of it, because as we've seen all this misinformation, disinformation, that we have going on in this country, there are so many historical facts about Black people that I don't even know because we were never taught it, and
Right.
you don't even know where to go and look for it because who even knew it existed?
Right.
So I think, this is a great way to take some of the burden off already overburdened teachers to try and come up with a program that, explains this information and puts it in the hands of these kids. They already have a built-in resource that is going to be top notch because it comes from Apple and it's in conjunction with the King Center, who is the leader in knowledge as it comes to Dr. King and his nonviolent movement for social change. All right. The last thing we have for the lowdown um is iPhone rumors. So even though we just got the iPhone 12 several months ago, there is the rumors about iPhone 13, or if it's even going to be called iPhone 13. I saw somewhere that, they may skip the 13 for superstition and all that kind of crap. But the next generation of iPhone, according to Cult of Mac, is that the notch at the top of the iPhone that has like your camera and your speaker is going to get smaller.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the rumors that is said to be in the new iPhone. We'll call it 2021 device, as well as it's going to be apparently some upgrades to the front facing camera, and some changes to the sensor as well. Those are so far the two biggest things I think that have come out of the rumors for this next generation iPhone. Have you heard anything or any other rumors that you've seen?
So the notch, I think, has been ongoing, gripe for
Mm-hmm.
many people. So Apple not necessarily getting rid of the notch, just making it slimmer will
Smaller.
maybe a compromise for a lot of people who that's all they've been complaining about. Which to me, I mean, I don't care, right? But I guess, Apple has to do something. So, to differentiate from the iPhone 12 and iPhone, whatever the next one is going to be named. So, I guess a smaller notch would be advantageous. The sensor shift, like you mentioned, basically, without breaking it down for layman's terms, is you can either stabilize the actual camera inside or you can stabilize the lens. So with Apple's attempt to stabilize the cameras gives better stabilization throughout, because if you're stabilizing the actual thing that is recording, that in theory or in practice with DSLR cameras, which currently stabilize the cameras versus smartphones right now stabilize the lenses. Apple switching to a stabilizing of the camera should be better overall. Only other thing that I'd be interested to hear about, to answer your question, is are they going to bring Touch ID back? And if they do, how they're going to do it? Are they going to put it on the button like they do the current generation iPads, to where you use your finger and you rub it across the power button for Touch ID?
Mm-hmm.
Or are they going to finally put it behind the glass on the
Hmm.
screen like the current Samsung devices are doing? So it'd be interesting to see what they do with Touch ID, because as you can see, like I mentioned with the iPads, they've already kind of started to bring it back. As I don't know if that's going to be their beta testers to see how people like Touch ID coming back, and if they bring it back, how will they implement it?
Yep. Yep. So I guess the rumor mill is going to keep churning along, and I'm sure we'll get more rumors as it gets closer to release time. So I guess we'll just have to keep an eye on what's coming with iPhone whatever in 2021, iPhone 13, even though I don't know what the big deal is about calling it 13. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. Um, so that is it for the lowdown where we talk all things Apple. Now we're going to head on over to Second String where we talk all other tech. Um, the first thing up, I thought this was very interesting when I saw it. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize they had this during the Obama White House. But apparently, inside of the HTML code on the White House website, they are trying to solicit developers and coders to join the quote unquote US Digital Service, which is a technology unit within the White House. So they are looking for people to come and work at the White House in the digital space by reaching out to them inside the HTML code on the website. Generally, to participate in this program, it's a 1 to 2 year commitment. This was set up by President Barack Obama back in 2014 in hopes of getting tech savvy professionals to come in to government service and work within the government ecosystem to help bring them up to the modern digital age. So there is a hidden message in the HTML code. I won't say it on here. We'll put the link in the show notes for those of you who may want to go and try and find it for yourself. But yeah, I thought this was really cool. I had no idea that this was even a thing prior to seeing this.
Well, and but they since we know about it, they kind of ruined it, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's a secret code, well, it ain't secret no more, you know. So now everybody and their mama's gonna go looking for it, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of an Easter egg, right?
Hmm.
So hopefully, they continue this by putting it in other places and,
Hmm.
figuring out other ways to build in. Because again, discovering the matrix, everybody couldn't do it, right? Only certain people were able to. And then they got, the blue pill or the red pill type thing. So, not to keep that analogy going, but, discovering something, and then you tell everybody kind of ruins it. So, like I said, hopefully they'll figure out more, cool ways to appeal to, beef up technology as it relates to this current administration. Another thing I saw that Biden is using to differentiate itself from Trump's administration as it relates to this website or WhiteHouse.gov. The White House contact page now asks people who write in the comments to select which pronouns they prefer. And the Biden team also left a secret message elsewhere on the White House website. So, this, call to coders to, apply to be a part of the U.S. Digital Service and to, give people agency as to how they want to be addressed, is another way that they are going to completely turn this administration around from this previous administration.
And the third thing is they brought back the Spanish version
Oh,
of
right.
the
Which is
White
just
House website.
flat
They
out disrespect, man.
just racist.
That's
I
right.
mean, how are you gonna be just so racist
Right. That
boldly?
is
They were.
crazy.
Yeah, they just took it down, but now it's back. So yeah, just I think it's a lot of time is going to be spent un
Undoing.
unracist if that's
Right.
the word, what the previous administration did. I hope I have like a whole, just section of people that's like, okay, we are the anti-racist team, and we're just going to work on making things not racist anymore. But you
Right.
guys stay over there and do the work of the country, even though this is the work of the country, but on policy, we have it on culture side over here.
Right.
So, so yeah. But the thought of this secret message thing is pretty cool, even though we now all know about it and they wrote an article about it. So, all right. If you're not a member of our Patreon community, you missed out on our recap of some things. And one of those things was as a part of the inauguration, Bernie Sanders is a new meme now. Him sitting in his chair,
Arms and legs
completely
folded.
completely underdressed. He has on the basic blue mask. He
Hmm.
has on mittens that apparently are from his state. And the person who makes them is from, I think, recycled wool. It's like a social initiative, I think. And I think he bought them or someone gave them to him a couple years ago. And the lady didn't even know. And he just started wearing them and it was like, oh, wow.
Hmm.
So yeah, so he's in his Vermont winter coat. He doesn't have on the fancy coat. He's just like, look, I'm here because I'm supposed to be because they making me. So I'm just gonna come. I'm gonna sit here looking kind of curmudgeonly
Hmm.
uh, in the at this inauguration. Pomp and circumstance. Boo. Who cares about that? I'm just here, and then I'm gonna go to the mailbox and get some lunch after I leave here. But yeah, so it's become a meme. People are putting this picture of him sitting at the inauguration in so many different
Hmm.
circumstances.
Hmm.
So, Google Street View, the app now allows you to place Bernie wherever you want to place him.
Hmm.
People have, Photoshop skills and, they're having to go and edit the photo, pull out the different pieces that they want. But one of the software engineers, Nick Sawheny, sorry, Nick, if I'm mispronouncing that, um, he created an app that lets you add Senator Bernie Sanders to any location in the Street View.
Right.
So I just thought it was, something light, something funny, where you can go and prop up Bernie Sanders in an actual view of that's a real view.
Right.
Not necessarily. I think some people pat him as Bran in Game of Thrones,
Right.
at the Game of Thrones, and they were on the council, had him sitting there. He's been sitting on the one of the, I think it's is it the A train in New York. This guy they've put him pretty much everywhere.
Hmm.
They got Beyonce sitting on his lap from when she did the lap dance, I think at the BET Awards one year.
Hmm.
So it's so many places that people have put in, but this individual Nick's app lets you do a little bit easier and put it in real time views.
Yep. Yep. They've got him anywhere in the world. It looks like it. It's called Bernie Sits. Is the name of the website where you can go. I mean, there's more to it. We'll put the link in the show notes. But I've seen some pictures where they got him in front of the. They got him, of course, in front of the White House. They got him on vacation. I've seen some pictures where they've got
In front
him.
of Trump Tower.
Right. They've got him at La Brea Tar Pits. They got him at a castle. Got him in front of farmers market. All these different places. Just as far as pictures are concerned, like I said, not including all the places he's been placed prior to this app or these
Mhm.
tools that can help you place him anywhere. They've got him in all kinds of places in history. They got him sitting next to Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy in Life, towards one of those credits, towards the end credits, a couple different places. So I'm pretty sure if you go, do a search on Bernie Sits or whatever, you'll see all the
Put Bernie
memes.
anywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You'll find all the memes that have been currently, previously created over the past couple days, past day, because it's
Day.
just
It just
yesterday.
happened yesterday.
Right. Of all the places Bernie has been. So that was good fun.
Yeah. It was a fun time. Now you can join in on the fun too. All right. Up next and last in second string for this week, Trump. We know that he has been silenced on all of the social media girls, and Facebook has a new oversight board that has been put in place after all of this melee kind of came to a head. And now this oversight board will be the deciders of whether Donald Trump gets his Facebook and Instagram platforms back. Um, they before they locked him out for 24 hours. And then they then extended that 24 hours to essentially indefinitely ban him. So the oversight board at Facebook will make the decision on whether they keep this access suspended or they give him control of his online persona again.
Yep. So I think it's kind of weird that Facebook says, yeah, we thought it was the right thing at the time, but, we shouldn't make this decision on our own. So we're going to refer this case to our own oversight board. It's like,
5-member panel.
right. But it's Facebook's oversight board. So it's just like me
Right.
saying, you come into my house and say, I don't like what you did. I'm going to kick you out of my house. But I don't think I should have made that decision on my own. So let me refer you to me. So to decide whether or not I'm going to permanently ban you or not.
I'm going to keep my decision.
Right. So we'll see what this oversight board, what they come up with. And again, but it does kind of further the conversation of, yes, companies are private, so they don't follow the same, Second Amendment, laws. They don't follow First Amendment. I'm sorry. They don't have to follow those same laws as far as because they're not a government entity. But at the same time, this does set precedent on, who, how, when, where does somebody get banned, and can this bleed into other areas? Of course, this is almost a kind of hard to ignore when, Trump incited a riot that took over the nation's capital for, if not an hour or so.
And
That's
killed 5 people.
right. That's pretty big and pretty glaring and pretty hard to ignore and pretty hard. And it will be pretty hard for this something to happen down the road and they say, well, you did this. This is going to be different. Time will
Yeah.
tell if somebody can top that. But I don't see a regular Joe Schmo getting kicked off of Facebook and saying, well, or trying to get back on, whatever the case may be, and try to use this, Trump's, ban as a precedent or as a case as to why they should or shouldn't. Yeah, that's going to be tough, but we'll see because they have brought up the conversation of how much power does social media have. We know they have tons and tons and tons of influence, but how much power should they have, right? So that's the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. So this 5-member panel, they will assess whether the content that he provided violated, any of Facebook's rules and values. And then this panel will present their findings to the oversight board. Um, Trump and or his people will be able to submit a statement explaining why he thinks the ban should be overturned. The oversight board will also accept public comments on the case starting next week, which should be quite interesting. And then under the bylaws of the board, they have to rule on the case within 90 days. And they will publish the rulings with an explanation on the website.
Right.
So, and then after that, Facebook will have a week to act on the decisions of the board and 30 days to issue a public response to any policy recommendations that the board makes. So it seems like they have a plan. We'll see how this plan works and what any type of overriding implications that it may have. So he will remain banned until after whatever this discourse is with this board.
Right.
So it should be interesting to see, how it all rolls out. All right, that is it for second string. Let's head on over to For the Culture. During the snobOS show, we did a detailed talk and of our thoughts and ideas on the inauguration. So this week in For the Culture, I wanted to see what was your biggest highlight from the inauguration.
I shared it on Facebook. I thought the picture of Obama greeting Kamala Harris and they're doing
With
their,
the fist bump,
little fist bump
double
thing.
fist bump.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. That was probably the highlight. And then, all of the I think it was another image that I saw of of course thought it was cool Bill Clinton coming in and giving everybody the dab. Now I don't know if that was because of COVID and he couldn't shake everybody's hand, or that's just Bill Clinton being Bill Clinton. But I thought that was cool coming in dabbing everybody. And there was another image that I saw. Of course, the young lady who did the poem, I can't remember her name.
Mm-hmm.
She has a book that flew off the shelves. So now she's making all this money with these books that she's written because of this one momentous time. Right place, right time. Had the previous administration not done all it did, even if she was asked to come speak at the Biden's inauguration, having the past, the insurgent and Trump and all that stuff, I don't think it would have meant as much. But the fact
Mm-hmm.
that the insurgency did happen, and her speech, I can't think of what is her name.
Amanda Gorman. That's
Amanda
gonna be my
Gorman.
highlight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So I stole yours. My bad.
No
So,
problem.
so I think that was I think her being in the right place at the right time not only was fitting for the inauguration, but that's pretty much going to set her up, for the future. Because if I recall, I recall somebody mentioning that she was going to run for president, and whenever she's eligible, that's probably 20 years down the line. But the fact that she can actually have those aspirations, and seeing Kamala Harris get elected as vice president, after, Obama being elected president, not very far off, especially with her clout that she's got now as a result of doing this prophetic speech, during this inauguration. So those are my highlights.
Yeah. So I'll start with another highlight. Michelle Obama.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
A
Period.
highlight. Um, Kamala swearing, being sworn in. Highlight. But the biggest highlight for me was Amanda Gorman.
Okay.
I was just so impressed with the way she commanded the stage. She's so young. Her words were so impactful. And when you were talking about running for president, it was Hillary Clinton who said, when you won for president in 2036,
Okay.
I'm so excited for that. She was like, I'll be, right here cheering you on, supporting you. So, and she was like, okay. And so I just thought that her words were just, I mean, it was piercing. And the way she commanded the stage. And I mentioned earlier, she was wearing a ring. She retweeted because Oprah said, she was so proud of her and all that good stuff. And then Amanda retweeted her and said the ring that I was wearing was of a caged bird that was given to me by Oprah in honor of Maya Angelou, another inaugural poet. So I just thought that was just, it just gave me goosebumps. The whole speech gave me goosebumps, and the fact that she was saying, paraphrase, of course, that a skinny black girl raised by a single mother can be, who had dreams of becoming a president, is now reciting a poem for one. It was brilliant. And reading a little bit more about her, she finished the the poem that she recited actually on at the end of the insurrection that day. She was able to, put the final notes on the poem that she was already working on for the inauguration. And she has a new book that is up for pre-order, and I ordered three. Uh, so I am, and I think it doesn't ship until September. So she's written other books before.
Right.
And I meant to go and see what some of the other ones are so I can, get those. But I did pre-order three of those books because I just, I wanted to support her because her words were that impactful, especially Black girl writing poetry, and her being so young and, how they say, give folks their flowers while they're alive. So, I definitely wanted to support, and that was, after as soon as I saw someone post it, I was like, yep, let me go ahead and pick this up real quick right now, so that I can have them. And I got one for me, and then I got one for my two nieces. I think the book may be geared towards, I don't know if it's geared towards little girls. It's just a little girl that's illustrated on the cover. So I may get one for my nephew as well. But yeah, so I was one of those people that help, sell that out. So
Well, yeah, she's definitely her 15 minutes of fame started yesterday. So, like I said, she's got a lot of clout. She's got a lot of book sales, pre-orders coming in. So hopefully she can
mhm.
successfully ride this wave, as the kids say, onto something even greater. So hats off to
Yeah,
her for that.
yeah, and the fact that she already had a book coming out with, I think it's Random House, which is a pretty big publisher already. So I think that is, you know, that's pretty big. She was already, on the ascent, and I think just kind of tipped her over. And it looks like they're going to release a special version of the poem in print as well. And I'll definitely buy some of those too.
All right.
So yes, so that's all I had in for the culture. Did you have anything you wanted to cover?
Nope. I think
All right.
everybody's attention was on the inauguration yesterday. So
Yep. Yep. And I don't have a hookup this week. Go on Amazon and pre-order
there you
Performance book. There's your hookup.
go.
All right. So that is it for this week. Definitely download, rate, and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also hit us up on any of the social medias. We're at snobOS Cast everywhere. That's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also watch us on YouTube. We're at snobOS Cast. Definitely like our page and subscribe to our channel. You can also leave us any comments, thoughts, suggestions on either our website, snoboscast.com, or an email at snoboscast@gmail.com. Again, if you want to get some of the access to the exclusive content, including pre-show content, live show taping, and our community chat forum, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/snobOS for just $5 a month. It's snobOS Cast. Let me say it again. The Patreon website is patreon.com/snobOScast. Also, if you just feel the overwhelming need to drop us a couple dollars, you can definitely hit us up at paypal.me/snobOS. And that is it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Peace.